Hey friends, and welcome back. So guys, I am sitting here at my desk getting ready to reconcile the first half of our budget for October, as well as finalize some things for the first paycheck in October. And I realized that I never came back and actually recorded the paycheck to paycheck budget with you guys. So what I typically do every single month is I create a budget for the entire month, and then I will go back and, or in that same time frame, I will then break down each paycheck and write in what expenses will be covered with that particular paycheck. So that way when income comes in, it's not a guess of what needs to be done. It's already pretty much pre-planned, and I look at it on paper and I know, okay, this got to be paid, that got to be paid, money needs to be moved here, etc., etc. So anyways, with getting on a routine and remembering to record that as I'm in the process of doing those things so that I can share that with you guys here on the channel, I have to write myself a sticky note sometimes to remember to do that. So nonetheless, we're going to do that in this video here. Again, I'm going to reconcile the first half of the month and then also write in for the first paycheck for this month as well. Now, I want to make sure that anything I am sharing with you guys is beneficial. I definitely want to make sure that when I am sharing our budget, our systems, our process, and all that stuff there, that it is clear, it's beneficial for you guys. Whether or not you take any of my tips, any of my crazy, if you will, and implement it in your budget or not, I want to make sure that it is clear for you guys to follow and all that stuff there. So a lot of the things that I do behind the scenes, I really can't show you without showing you our actual bank account and all that information there, which is just not an option to do that. So the closest thing I'm going to have is to just go back to paper and pen. Pretty much how I used to budget way back when, writing out everything longhand and so on. So I'm going to do that, and that way you guys can kind of follow along again as how things are broken up, especially when it comes to our cash budget, tracking our sick funds and things like that. So I'm at the point now within our budgeting process that I've been doing these things for so long that everything's just kind of in my head, if you will. And a lot of it is electronic. So of course I do everything by paper and pen. I write our entire budget there. But when it comes to transferring money over and making sure the amount that we put into said account for our sync funds and so on, all that's done electronically. So I go into the bank account and I move that money over, and at the end of the month all I have to do is go into the bank account and see how much was deposited into each fund, each category, etc., to get my numbers at the end of the month. Now with sharing that information, it's kind of hard to do again without showing you guys the bank account and all that stuff there, if that makes sense. So anyways, long story short, I just want to be as helpful as possible and as detailed as possible with these videos. So I'm going to go back to the way we used to do it and just pen and paper, longhand, because I love you guys and I want to share. And again, just be helpful, because I know sometimes that when you're getting into budgeting, that seeing how someone else does something kind of sparks an idea, gives you a light bulb moment, if you will, to get you rolling with your own budget and all that stuff there. So plus I have like 1,001 notebooks that are just sitting around not being utilized. So this gives me the opportunity to use a notebook. So I'm going to just kind of write out everything in this nice, beautiful notebook and use that for sharing with you guys here on the channel. Okay, enough jabbing. Let's settle around and get started. All right, so first thing first, I have the bill binder out. Now we have paper statements that, well, we receive paper statements pretty much for any and all bills that will still send us paper statements. Again, I'm a pen and paper girl. That's what I prefer. So I have, let's see, 1, 2, 3 of our utility bills here, which is the gas bill, the light bill, and the water bill. So I'm going to go ahead and punch them with the hole punch, and then I will put them in to the bill binder and then write in on the bill log the actual amount the bills are. So let's do that. And of course I have them turned upside down for privacy reasons and stuff. Alright, so we have that. Now I'm going to go into this month, which is, there's a tab for October. All right, and what I'm going to do is simply write in the actual amount for these bills. So gas bill, I budgeted out 34, but it's actually 25.77. So that one. Then the light bill, I budgeted 230 and it's actually 208.96. And the water bill, I budgeted 90 and it's actually 85.74. All right, so then what I will do is I place the bill statement into the bill binder according to due date and also according to priority. Now, I do this for two reasons. One, because it just makes sense to me. And then two is because I want to make sure that we are always taking care of priorities over wants and so on. So for instance, life happens. We all know that. Let's just say for example's sake, that the water bill and the internet bill are due at the exact same time and they're the exact same amount, but we only have money to pay one. Now, although I love having the internet because we do stream our TV through there, the kids use it for their electronic devices, I use it for YouTube, it is actually not more important than the water bill, of course. So having the water bill statement in front of the internet statement, again, it's just a safety net, or it's just a mind thing, I guess, for myself and the hubby, saying that this is priority over this. Even though they may be doing the same day or maybe do a few days apart, it's more important to pay the water bill than it is the internet bill, so on and so forth. Now, back in the day, back in like way back in the day, there was a time where I would have paid the cable bill, because we used to have cable back in the day. I would have paid the cable bill, but then not paid the light bill, and then sitting here looking like we looking, because, well, heck, we done paid the cable bill, but we ain't got no light, so we still can't utilize the television. So, you know, you learn as you grow. You grow and you learn, right? So anyways, that was back in the day. We did foolishness of that nature, those crazy things. All right, so again, I just placed the bills in according to due date, but also according to priority. So it just seems to work for us to do that. All right, so I'm pulling out the bill log because I will need to write on that as well. And then I have the notebook that I will utilize to, again, write in the sync funds and break down our cash spending. That way you guys can kind of see everything as it is in my head, which you can't see in my head, of course, but hopefully it just is a way to for you guys to keep track along with me, if you will. So yada yada. Now, I'm at the point again in our budgeting journey, I guess you would say, where all this stuff here is like second nature to me. I know all this stuff, you know, like the back of my hand. And I know when the due dates are. I know what's going to come out. I know the bill company. I know that if it's a holiday, this bill company is going to take out a day or two before or a day or two later. Like, this is me. Like, this is my type of stuff, and it's what I do. You know what I mean? So I know all this stuff inside and out. The hubby, on the other hand, does not. So the bill log is there definitely for a reference for both of us, and to make sure that we're keeping on track with our monthly expenses and all that stuff there. But I used to do what I'm going to show you guys how I'm going to do it more moving forward, just for the video's sake. I used to do that all the time, day in and day out, or week in, week out for budgeting, being very detailed. But once I realized that, heck, the hubby can care less, I felt like, okay, I'm doing all this for what? Because I know all this stuff. Again, I know exactly what bill is coming out, when it's coming out, how it comes out, and all this other stuff. So I started to move away from tracking that, like, detail, if that makes sense. So anyways, not saying that I'm perfect with our budget, because I'm absolutely not. There's definitely areas that I can definitely tighten up on to even stretch our budget farther, but I shouldn't say but. However, what I do now, I'm pretty comfortable with. We're meeting our financial goals, our financial obligations. Nothing's being cut off, taken away, etc. So I'm comfortable with just everything being in my head, if that makes sense. Anyways, moving on. So again, I want to make sure that anything I share here on the channel with you guys is beneficial, and you guys are understanding kind of how I'm flowing and what I'm doing and all that stuff there, you know, etc. And again, not saying that my budget is perfect, because it ain't. I got a lot of improvement to do, but what I have been doing thus far, I know is working for my family, and I hope that sharing this here on the channel publicly and all this, that it would help someone else out as well. So stop yapping. Let's move on. All right, so for the first half of our budget for October, this money was coming from our last paycheck in September, which was September the 28th. So that last paycheck in September covered all the expenses for the first half of, well, not all, but most of them for the first half of October. So what I have done here is simply just kind of written out everything as it would have been done electronically, transferring from bank account to bank account, and then also recording this information in our check registry. Again, we don't share the actual income that we receive, and we don't share the actual amount we putting out for tithes, because if we share that, then you can figure out how much our income was. Blase, blase. Hubby isn't comfortable with it, and I have to respect that. But I do share the actual expenses and what we spend for groceries, gas, personal expenses, and all that stuff there. So let's hop into it. Cash spending for this first paycheck, we had a total of $1,470 planned. I was planning to do $100 for groceries, which I did. Now that $100 actually went towards the hurricane relief fund, and I just cashed out of my rebate apps to purchase actual groceries, which I haven't brought anything but milk, salad, and a bunch of bananas thus far, and peanuts that I got last weekend shopping Kroger's 5-time use digital coupon. So moving on. Auto gas, I had budgeted out $300, but we only used $200, so we still have $100 left going into the next 2 weeks. Lola, we did $50. I took out $50 for Lola. Justin's glasses, my husband needed safety glasses for work. I budgeted $200. We actually only needed, well, he actually only used $100. Where he found a pair of glasses at for $100, I don't know. I don't care. So $100. And then he gave me that $100 back, and I placed that in the debt envelope within our envelope system here in the binder. So it's just going to go in here. I had given him cash. Look, y'all, it's so cute. He gave me the actual sticky note back that I put on there for him. But anyways, placing it in there because, again, what we do is all extra money received, all extra money received goes towards debt. So it'll just sit in the debt envelope. And at the end of the month, anything else that's in there, put it in the bank account and transfer it over to pay debt. All right, for the truck repairs, we budgeted out $450, but we actually only spent $300. It was $373, and let me check. Hold on, let me not lie to myself. And 97 cents. So we were under budget for the Ford repairs. On the travel, we budgeted out $370. It looks like a 20, but it's $370. And we only spent $245, but I should say I only spent. So this is what had happened. We originally was going to all go down. Me and the younger kids were going down on Friday. We got a rental car. We did that. The hubby and the oldest son was supposed to meet us. Well, the oldest son ended up having to work, so they did not come down with us. So that meant I had $50 less that I was going to spend on eating out, because we did go eat out for my aunt's birthday. So I had budgeted $100 for eating out for me and my hubby only. The kids were not attending. So I only spent $50 on my meal, which was so good. Like, it was the seafood pasta with crawfish and shrimp and butter bread. It was delicious. $50 later. Anyways. And so that was $50 less because the hubby didn't come. We didn't have to cover gas for 2 vehicles again because he didn't come. And then I did not have to pay for the hubby to go into, for the donation to get into the breast cancer walk and all that. So that was $20 less. So anyways, $240 is what it actually ended up being. And let me get my calculator out because my phone is dead. And that's what I would usually use for calculating all this stuff up. All right, so 100, 373, 97. Whoa, I pressed too many numbers. Okay, 100, 200, 50 for Lola, 100 on glasses, 373, 97. Okay, hold on. Let me find the other phone because this ain't working. Those little calculators, look, these little Dollar Tree calculators, they would be the bomb.com, but they wouldn't be doing their own thing, pressing all the wrong buttons. All right. So we have 100, 200, 50, glasses, travel, and truck repairs. Okay. So that came out to $1,068.97. Look at that. So we spent $381.03 less than what we had planned in our cash envelopes. Okay, then here we go with sync funds. So for auto insurance, again, for the sync funds, I break it down on our bill log here. For the month, we need this amount to go into these categories: bi-weekly, weekly, and at the end of the month, I will come in and put down what we actually spent. Now, I get my actual number because I will just go into the bank account and see what I transferred into each account for the entire month, and I will add it up there, so I have all my totals for my bill log here. Now, side note, if you are new here, quick side note, and then it's been a while, so I'm just going to say this. I use this bill log. Let me write bill log on here, because it has for me, everything related to our day-to-day, week-by-week, monthly finances is kept on here. And because I run a business, actually 2 different businesses out of the home, I need all these numbers from our expenses for business purposes. So everything is here. And what I do is I scan all of my receipts and bill statements, all that stuff in to a software. I have a Neat Desk scanner. So I scan all that in at the end of the month. And it's all there. So if I ever have to go back and reference it, I can. So yeah, that's that. Okay. So for all these categories, we're going by the bi-weekly amount that we needed, and I actually transferred everything dollar for dollar, so that works, except I did $38 for Lola. Now, Lola's thing is only $37.50, but I always round up and just do $38 because, I mean, it's $38. Look, I'm forgetting my dollar signs. Because, you know, it's only 50 cents, so I always just round it up, but I don't know why I do it like that, but I do. Okay, so it came out to be $263 instead of $262.50 because, again, I did round it up by 50 cents for Lola's account. It just works. Okay, then coming down here, we have our bills. So we were budgeting out $1,612.38 total for bills, which is pretty accurate. The only thing that was different was the house alarm. It is actually $44.36. But I always just round it up to $45 because, I mean, why not? Our mortgage came out to be exact. We have no late fees there, so that's a good thing. And look, I'm still forgetting my dollar signs. I always do that. It doesn't matter. We all know it's money. Okay. Cell phone was accurate, and cell phone was accurate. Now, my cell phone, my plan is on its own, like, contract. Well, not even a contract. We were at Metro PCS, everybody, but mine is by myself, and then my hubby and all the kids are together. So I just separated that way because for business purposes, I write off a portion of my cell phone, and the hubby should be writing off a portion of his, but story of another day. Okay, so it's pretty much everything minus a few cents from the minus 64 cents instead. So let's just add all that up just to be accurate. So $12.96 for our mortgage, life insurance, house alarm, sell and sell. So that number is $16.11.74. All right. So now what I do, or what I am going to do, is the grand total. So our income minus what we give the church tithes. So our church tithes is up here. This is non-negotiable, like non-negotiable. We give 1/10 of our income for our church tithes. Now, there are times throughout the year that we do give more for offerings and things like that, and I'll just incorporate it in that as well because the church gives us an itemized statement of what we gave for, you know, different charities or categories, etc. So anyways, church tithes minus our cash spending and minus our sync fund, then minus our bills will equal this number here and then that. Okay, so let me add that up off camera right fast because again I have to go into the account and get the income totals. All right, so once I subtract our tithing, spending, sync funds, and bills from our income, that leaves us with a positive total of $521.99, which this entire amount, and actually it's going to, let me be honest, it's going to be $500 because it's just going to make sense to me for an even number. $500 will be going towards debt payment. So that leaves us $21.99, and actually itself, where does this go? It's just going to be left in the account. That's it. I'm just going to write myself a note, left in account. And it'll just be left in a checking account and be absorbed. So that's another thing too. I don't know if I ever mentioned this before, but we do have a buffer in our checking account that just, it remains there just in case life happens. If something happens, we have a buffer there. It took us quite some time to get that buffer. It did not happen overnight. It was a matter of all these little odd numbers left over from, you know, what we didn't transfer over to debt or savings or didn't put towards whatever left over. It started to accumulate for us to have this little buffer. And then also I was intentional about any extra money I got, like when I had the daycare full time. If I got any tips from anyone, I did date night or anything like that, I would use that money and I would leave it, you know, put it into the checking account to give us a little buffer so that it grew like a snowball effect. It grew because our expenses for the month, if we're living lavish, you know, and all out and all that stuff there, we're a little over $3,000. That's our bills and cash spending and all that stuff there. I wanted to get to a point where we had at least half of that as a buffer in our checking account. So that is that. All right, so once everything is said and done, this is the again, the first half of our budget for October. This income came from the last paycheck in September. Once all of our expenses are subtracted from our income, it left us with a total of $521.99, and again, $500 I'm going to put towards debt. The debt that we are working towards right now paying off is my husband's student loans. So we are on track to have this paid off by the end, well, actually by the middle of December, if nothing comes up. We still don't know what we're doing for Christmas, and the family is crying for some type of vacation. It is October, and I have yet to start looking into anything, so that tells me we ain't going nowhere but to Houston, Texas, where we live. So anyways, I don't know. Anyway, so moving on. Then I came down here and I used a little sticker. Look at that. To do. So what I needed to do is make sure that I took out the cash out of my rebate apps to cover for groceries, and then the actual cash for groceries I left in the account, and I used that to donate to the Hurricane Relief Fund this month. So that is that. Now I could take that $100 and move it up here, or put it, actually I should do that, put it towards donations, because you do get a, you know, a tax write-off for every dollar that you donate. So yeah, I should do that as well, and just notate that that $100 went towards that, and keep some record of it. I don't know, I have to put that somewhere, but that's what I'm going to do. So hurricane relief, because that's what it was, and so on. If I can write, that's what I'll do there, and just, yeah, that'll be that. Okay, because I spelled that all wrong. All right, moving on. Okay, so that is pretty much it for the first half of the month. And then we can go quickly, because I'm sure this video has been way too long, and go over the second, well, the second half of the month, but it's the first check that we're actually receiving in October. So that check is going to be on the 12th is when we get paid, and I have the exact same layout of what I'm going to do now, because I did get the bills in. So for like the water bill, I know for sure the water bill is going to be $85. So I can go ahead and write that in here. The light bill is $208.96. I'm going to write that in. And then the gas bill is $25.77. I can put that in. What else do we have on here that I know for sure? I don't have the internet bill yet. Jada's dental, I know for sure it's $135. So I'll go ahead and put that in. The life insurance is $115.38. And this is going to be actually covering November's life insurance. So I can go ahead and put that in. Pest control, I'll wait. And then that I'll wait. Okay. Then for groceries, I'm not taking out anything because we don't need anything for groceries. Again, I have the money for my rebate apps. Auto gas, because I only used $200 last week. We still have $100 left. So we're only going to do $200 for this paycheck. Couponing, I am going to go ahead and take out $40. Justice Blow money, he was, I was going to do $200 for him to go to the football game, but he says all he needs is $100. So, okay. And then my blow money is $40. I need to get myself a few pieces of clothes, so that's probably what I'm going to do with that. Hair and nails, I will be taking out $120 because I didn't take out anything last week for that. And then I'm scheduling the carpet cleaning for this coming week. So I'm going to go ahead and take out that $180 to cover that as well. Again, the carpet is usually like $177 or something like that with tax. So I would just round it up to $180. And sometimes I will just give a little tip to the guy. I don't think you're supposed to tip them, but what the heck, I'll tip them. And I'm pretty sure that we will be able to go ahead and fund each one of the sink funds at 100% of these amounts here. But I will wait to put that in until I know what these bills are here, just to be on the safe side. Because again, this is what I'm, pre-budgeting will happen. But if something else happens over here, then we may have to change some things up, so on and so forth. I know for a fact that these amounts here they're covered. This is going to be taken care of, so I'm not going to worry about that. But that's pretty much it for this month, for this paycheck. So once I finalize all of this, or once I have all the numbers in, then I'll come back and share reconciling this paycheck with you guys. So the one to do I have for this paycheck is remembering to transfer $200 from our birthday fund to cover Jada's birthday expenses. So we typically spend $200 per birthday for each person across the board. So I just need to make sure I transfer that over from the sink funds to cover that. And that'll be it. So, yeah. All right, guys. Thank you so very much for hanging in. I'm pretty sure this video was quite long because I feel like I've been talking for a while. But I definitely hope that the way I kind of go about doing things is helpful for you guys. And, you guys can follow along and see all my crazy and what's in my brain and all that stuff there. As always, I would love to chat with you guys about money, about my money and your money. Definitely comment down below, how has October been going for you so far? Did you create an October budget, or are you on track with your budget, or have you had to go in and fix some things, etc., etc. So until next time guys, thank you so very much for watching. Bye bye.